life is a very mysterious thing. Like, everybody thinks life is like predictable. It's because they live predictable lives. Like, you wake up in the morning, brush your teeth, wash your ass, go to work, go to school, go do whatever the fuck you gotta do. And you get stuck in that same rhythm. And then every once in a while, life just throws you out of that rhythm. Not even, like, you ain't had no choice. Life just said, yo, get the fuck out of here. Get outside. And get inside. Like life, it knows when to speed you up, and it knows when to slow you the fuck down. Because sometimes we can't do that for ourselves. It's like sometimes we get stuck in we get stuck in slow motion. Yeah, everything's predictable. You got like a whole, what's it called? Plans. Like, you plan for shit to happen and you want it to stay that way. Yeah, habits. You got your habits. And then sometimes life just kicks you out your habit. Like, puts you in positions where you gotta switch up the shit you do. Shit. Sometimes it's a good thing, sometimes it's a bad thing. Can you conform to the new, or do you struggle to keep what you had? It's very interesting. I mean, me personally, I'm like water. I know I can thrive in any position. That's dangerous, because you can thrive in the wrong position. You always want to make sure you not even moving, like you growing in the right place. You want to make sure you're growing in the right place. And that's something I struggle with. Like, I have seeds all over the place. I have different things. I have growth in places that are total opposites to each other. Fuck trying to call me. One thing lately I've been trying to practice in my own life is approaching things with intention. Like, not just going along with the ride, like approaching things with an intent, like an objective, a mission. I mean, you do that. You naturally do that. Like, you're going here to do this. You're talking to this person to attain that. But, like, I'm talking about, like, with everything. It's like, in my head, it's like, even if I'm reaching for a glass of water, I do it with intent. Like, I just don't, like, you know, you do something naturally. Like, I'm trying to, like, put intent, like make every move a power move. And I see, and it's like, in doing that, it's like you see there's going to be times when you move with intent and what you intend to happen doesn't happen. That's not a bad thing, because sometimes, like, even when you put that energy into something, you narrow your mind. Like, you focus. It's like you accommodate. Like, you focus on it and then block things, and then that, like, you get into a habit of narrowing in on something. But then that doesn't happen all the time, and it just takes you out of that. Like, shit, like, yeah, the world works in mysterious ways. Like, you press and you intend to apply pressure, and then you get pressed, and then that's where the excitement comes up, because now you're being challenged. It's like there's a back and forth. There's like a conversation, spiritually, physically, mentally, all that shit. Because, you know what I'm saying, you ain't supposed to have your way all the time. Sometimes things are supposed to have their way with you. But you gotta be conscious of that. You can't, I should change that. I gotta be conscious of that. Because sometimes you have fun. You have fun when shit's not under your control. But also, you gotta remember to keep shit under control. You can't give whatever it is the rope. You know what I'm saying? You gotta always have your grip on the rope. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was having a conversation with these kids at school the other day. They're talking about, like, racism and shit. And I'm like, racism. It's just, it's a thought pattern. Like, no one is born racist. It doesn't make sense. No one is born with hate. You know what I'm saying? Hate is something that's taught. Racism is something that's taught. And it might not even be, it's not like people teach their kids to be racist. No, they're racist, and then their kids see them being racist, and then their kids take that as a normal. It turns into a norm. And that's where racism comes from. Normalized, like, they normalized that line of thought. They normalize that speech pattern. They normalize all that shit. And I'm talking to these kids, like, you gotta, like, break that shit, because now they normalize whatever the fuck, because black people can be racist too, all that wild shit. Hate is just trained. Hate is learned by sight. Like, people, no one wants their kid to grow up with hate. I don't believe that. Doesn't make, I mean, to me, it doesn't make sense. I would never want my kids to grow up to hate the things I hate. You feel me? So, what I was saying to these kids that was all black, is like, why are you worried? There's no one is coming up to you being racist. And they're talking about, what do they call it? Systemic racism. Yeah, I believe that does exist. Systemic racism does exist. That's a fact. But you can't let that shit hurt you. You can't let that shit take control of you. That makes no sense. It doesn't, it's not the vibe. I was telling them, like, position themselves out of that train, out of that thought pattern that everything's against you. Because, yeah, life is against you. The point of life is to go through shit. not shit go through you. You feel me? That's why you always gotta be under pressure from something. Either trying to get food for you or trying to get food for other people. But I was just trying to tell them, I probably wasn't using the correct words, but I wasn't getting through to them. I was telling them to widen their mind. Like, they were looking at it very first level, you feel me? They weren't looking at it from another point of view. I tried to put a new pair of eyes on them, and they weren't fucking with me. But yeah, like, when you're in a situation where people, well, not a situation where people, well, you're just in a debate, because you can have a debate with yourself. When you're in a situation where you're questioning and you're trying to find an answer to a problem that you know exists, but there's not one definite answer, because the right answer for me will be the wrong answer for somebody else. Hate will probably be your right answer in a situation, and love might be my answer in a situation. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Like, everybody wants an enemy to fight. You know, they want to pick up arms and go at something with all their passion, but you got to choose that. You got to choose that very carefully, because you're gonna get stuck holding the bag, and that thing you thought you was fighting for alongside people that you thought were your people will leave you in a place, because everybody ain't gonna keep that same energy with you, especially if you was the hardest going for it. Yeah, you're gonna get left holding the bag. Nah, and you don't want that. You want to think. You want to choose what you want to go against. That's why I told them, like, the shit I fight, I don't fight for fucking nobody else. The fuck? Well, I fight for me. And y'all, like, it's not a selfish thing. It's like, I wouldn't say, I'm not in the position to say that, oh, I can help this person. I can put myself in that position, and out of God's good grace, I can actually help them. But alone, no, it's very difficult to sit down with somebody and have like a conversation these days, because especially if that person they're blind and they're very passionate. Blind and passionate. Yes. It's like, you ever spoke to somebody that's like in love with somebody, but that person is hurting them and shit? Yeah, it's like you're literally pulling nails out of their motherfucking head. It's like they're so stuck, like, physically, chemically, in that shit, that it's like, literally, you ever tried to pull a nail? You ever tried to pull a screw out with a hammer? Know what I'm saying? Like that screw gun put in, you can't, that shit don't work. You can pull a nail that you hammered out. Like, you can hammer a piece of nail into a wood. You can hammer a piece of nail. You can hammer a nail into wood, like a hammer and nail, basic nail, and you can pull that shit easy out with a hammer, right? But it's like pulling out a screw with a hammer. Like, you ain't got the right tools, and that's something I'm learning in life. Like, you gotta approach every problem with the right tools. And I feel like I've grown. I know a little bit of something, but I'm the first one to admit I don't know everything. I don't know shit. So if I practice putting myself in a situation where, yeah, let me approach this. I might not be fully equipped, but shit, there's not a reason not to. You feel me? And people, yeah, like I'm saying, them kids, like, at the end of the day, they're looking at me crazy. Like, yo, I'm like, this hate that you guys think is pointed directly at you, it's not. It's like a social construct with it's like a cold, like, social construct. It's like it don't exist in the material. Like, it's just like a thought bubble that everybody be stuck in. Like, yo, fuck that. But then I go talking like one time I was coming out of a Walmart, right? And I'm walking in the parking lot, walking to my car, and I see this like little white lady on this motherfucking one of the little scoot shit that be having, you know what I'm saying? And then she's riding away, and then she turned back and called this brother that was working for the Walmart, like, you know, one of the people like gathering all the carts, call that nigga a nigga. And I'm like, yo, I really try and keep the reins on myself. I'm like, I really try and, you know, put the brakes on myself, because I have a wild thought pattern. Like, me, like, shit might happen to me, and I'm like, all right, yeah. But if I see shit happen to other people, it's like, I don't know, like I'll let shit slide. If that lady called me a nigga, I'll be like, all right, son, you gotta relax. You can't go beat up this white woman. You can't go beat the fuck out of this old white lady. It ain't gonna look good. It ain't gonna look good. But if I see some shit, if I see she called one of my people, or like this random person I don't like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. She called this guy I don't know a nigga in front of me, and I was ready to go nuclear. You feel me? And then the guy, it was like a very. It's all like that point, like I'm not alone in the way I think. Cause I know he was thinking the way I would think if that would have happened to me. He told me, he was like, listen, it's not a problem, man. It's like, you can't let them get under you. And I'm like, this nigga right here, he's just like me, bro. He's like, he had to put the brakes on himself. Like, that's what I'm saying. It's like everybody is like different. You feel me? Yeah, everybody has different things to fight for. They have different things to do. They have different priorities in life. They have different thought patterns, different skin, different size, different blah blah blah. But like, we all the same, man. We all the same. I really like, cause if that bitch would have called me a nigga, I would have been like, calm down, sis. She ain't worth it. And that's exactly how he was. And I'm like, fuck, this nigga is just like me, bro. This nigga is just like me. Fuck. That's why like, shit. That's why it's like a very difficult thing. Like, we all expecting people to think differently. And sometimes, yeah, people are thinking differently. But at the core, it's all the same. We all are striving for personal greatness. But blinded by ego, pride, lust, gluttony, greed, shit like that. It's like we fighting. We want to be honest with ourselves, but then 10 seconds later tell ourselves a lie about us. It's fucking fucked up. I was telling them kids, like, you gotta unfuck yourself. You gotta like unfuck yourself, because you there thinking you being oppressed, and that makes you feel oppressed, and really you not being fucking oppressed. And this one bitch was like, oh, I live in a community where all that oppressing shit be happening. I'm like, yeah, you live in a community where that shit happening because, motherfucker, you ain't leave. there's like, listen, one thing I know about life, you can move out of any situation. You can leave a situation. Any situation that you in, you can literally leave the situation. You might think that, oh, you can't. And sometimes, yeah, sometimes you can't at that moment. But God don't give you nothing you can't handle. You feel me? And the thing is, it might not be at that moment you can't get out that problem, but motherfucker, there is, if you work hard and you push yourself, there ain't no situation you can't get out of. That's the world we live in right now. We live in a world where information is so easily attained that, like, that's why I was telling them, it's like, if you in that situation, why the fuck you still in that situation? How many years you and your family live there? And it's not like, listen, and this, like, you all, that's why I talk about things with people. Like, if I'm in a space where I'm not good, I find somebody to talk to. I just talk. I'd be like, yo, there's a problem, because I know how I think through things. And one thing I do is I like to know how other people think about things, because that's what I was saying earlier. When you accommodate to a problem, when you focus on a problem, you narrow your thought patterns, because you only think of that problem. Somebody else, they tackle that problem. You're tackling this problem from the front, and motherfucker, the answer to the problem might be from the back, side, under, on top. You understand what I'm saying, motherfucker? So, motherfucker, speak to your fucking family, nigga. Stack your bread and get the fuck out of that fucking community if you feeling so fucking oppressed. The only reason you still there is because you think you can't get the fuck out, or you won't speak up to get the fuck out. I'm pretty sure that bitch that was talking to me saying like, yeah, this, she ain't never talked to her fucking parents about it. Her parents probably just think that's the natural thing, because they've been living like that their whole lives. And then she go to school and go over her friend's house and do all that shit and see how other people living, and it's like, nah, I seen a better life in different place. But motherfucker, talk to them motherfuckers, make a plan, and get the fuck out. It might not be something that you can do immediately, but it's something that you can most definitely do in the future. And that's why I was trying to get in these motherfuckers' heads. Like, yeah, you might have a problem. You might feel oppressed, but the greatest oppressor is yourself, because you ain't done nothing to get yourself out that fucking problem. You ain't done nothing to answer that motherfucking problem. The only thing you done did is talk about that problem. And that's the dangerous thing with me. You talk to me, I'm finna do my best to give you a motherfucking answer. It might not be the best answer, shit. It might not even be the answer at all. But motherfucker, I'm finna give you some type of information, yo. I'm finna steer you in some type of direction. Cause if you talking to me about your problem, I see that you ain't got no direction, that you're in a stagnant place and there's no growth in any direction, motherfucker, I'm gonna do my best to press you to go into a direction, to move with intent. There's something that you can do. There's something that you can do. Like, whatever point you're on, every point is pivotal. Motherfucker, even if your back is against a wall, you still got up, nigga. You feel me? If your back is against the wall, there's still up. Climb that fucking gate, get over the other side and run. Put the fucking heaters on them. Put the motherfucking 98 Nikes on and start busting ass down the motherfucking street, nigga. Give a fuck. And that's why I was just trying to tell them. Like, I felt like them kids felt jaded at me, or they saying I was acting mad. No, I ain't acting coonish or nothing. I'm telling these niggas, you're telling me you got a problem with something, but you're not giving me a solution. Don't come to me with no fucking math problems and not try and answer that shit in front of me. Cause that's not my motherfucking problem. You feel me? It's your problem. And if I see that you ain't got an answer to none of your problems, damn well sure I'm gonna give you some answers. I'm gonna pull out my math book, go to the back of the book, and I'm gonna be like, bitch, you got choices. This is a multiple choice test. You feel me? Life is a multiple choice test. And it'd be like nursing questions. All them bitches sound right. But the thing is, not to get, the thing in life is asking for help. There's attack in the there's, how to say this, pride. Don't fall on your sword, yo, and then get mad at somebody else because you stabbed yourself with your own shit. Like, come on. I feel like that's something that I learned. It's like I used to fall on my sword all the time. I used to get myself involved with wild shit, and then shit that ain't got nothing to do with me personally. You feel me? I used to just get myself. Somebody used to ask me how I used to get dragged in situations. I'm like, I used to lead people in the situation. I'm like, yo, come on, you gotta really think about what the fuck you doing, cause shit. Cause you'll move for the wrong reasons in life, and you'll think that, yeah, I'm supposed to be doing this, but nah, you wasn't supposed to be doing this. You didn't have to do this, but now you doing it. Now you in it. You in that shit, and it's either you gonna go through that shit or throw that shit out your way. That's it. You feel me? And don't get mad. Don't get mad at somebody else when you fall on your own sword. They always say, my mom used to tell me, yo, pride cometh before a fall. You feel me? Pride cometh before a fall. And trust me, I've fallen a lot of times, but you know what I'm saying? Got real good at picking my shit up. Fuck you.